pretty last week.
A.J. Brown not targeted until this fourth quarter. It was a pretty big moment as well in the game. He had enough time to read a book if he wanted to on the sidelines. Last time he had just one single target in the game. Week 11 of the 2023 season. 1 catch, 8 yards against the Chiefs. Jalen Hurts did run twice in the second half as the Eagles took this game. 21-17. A.J. Brown on the subject of targets earlier this week.
You know, I know I'm in the game because, you know, the coverage is getting rotated to me every single play, you know, and even if it's underneath a catch to Dallas Goedert or Johan getting his one-on-one opportunity, he making the big grab on the post, you know, that's how I know I'm still in this game and in this game, and I'm still affecting this game. So regardless of if I was touching the ball or not, you know, I'm still making an impact on the game. But, you know, as a receiver, you know, it is tough because you want to touch the ball. You want to feel like you're contributing.
And that's where we kick off hour number 2 of this week number 2 edition of NFL Gaming Morning presented by Lowe's. You've earned football, Sunday football. That's Gerald McCoy. That's Kurt Warner. That's my coach, Steve Mariucci. I am Rich Eisen, asking, I think, a very basic question that sounds rhetorical, but I need an answer. Nonetheless, do the Chiefs, do the Eagles need to target A.J. Brown more? You need to get him involved more to beat the Chiefs today, Steve Mariucci.
Of course, the answer is yes. But that video we just saw of him answering that question was very good on his part, okay? He was a good teammate right there. Now, if the trend continues, that kind of narrative starts changing to frustration, right? Because they do want to contribute, and it's not just... It's also Devontae Smith. He only had 3 targets, too. The best thing that the Eagles do on their offense is Saquon Barkley running with the football, okay? Duh. All right? The second best thing is Jalen Hurts running with the football. The next thing is the passing game. However, they need to stay balanced to be really good on offense and score a lot of points. Balanced, I mean run-pass balance, all right? That means get the ball to this guy and Devontae Smith and back those safeties up so they can run the ball a little bit without a loaded-up box all the time. And so, yeah, I think they're going to make a concerted effort today to let's get the ball outside to our wide receivers.
I think it's interesting what you just said, Steve, that the best thing they do on offense is Saquon running with the football, and the second best is Jalen Hurts running with the football. You could say the best thing they do on offense is Jalen Hurts being pushed with the football on top of all of that, which I imagine leads to fewer and fewer targets when it comes down.
For sure. You said it sounds like a rhetorical question, but I'm going to actually answer it with, no, I don't think they're going to have to get him the ball more to win today's football game against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have struggled to put a lot of points on the board for quite a while now. They struggled to put a lot of points on the board against that defense in the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to struggle today to put a lot of points on the board. So I do believe it's going to be about doing what you do best, running the football, Jalen Hurts running the football. And as A.J. Brown even said in his interview, well, if they're rolling the coverage to me and double teaming me, that's going to make it easier to do what they do best. And so, yes, it would be great. We always want to get our best playmakers the football, and he is a difference maker with the football in his hands. But I don't know if they're going to have to get him the ball more if they're going to win this football game.
Yeah, Kurt, you mentioned the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles and what they did in the Super Bowl. Well, that defense is not there anymore. That D-line is not there. Guys in the secondary, the leadership is not there. We seen the Cowboys walk up and down the field on this Philadelphia Eagles defense last week. They didn't punt until the fourth quarter. So the answer is yes, they will need A.J. Brown. You're going to need all the firepower you can get. In the Super Bowl, the defense gave them a lot of short fields. So the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have to be as explosive. I do believe today that the Chiefs are out to prove a point, and they will score a lot of points. So if Philly wants to keep up, they need to get A.J. Brown more involved.
I got an off-the-board question before we move on, if you don't mind. The way we saw the game end in Brazil, where Chris Jones took a path to Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert took advantage of it. Drew Tranquill starts barking. And Chris Jones, if you're the Eagles, do you put Jalen Hurts on the edge early on in this game just to see if they fix that? Or you push that sort of situation Do you do something like that, Jalen Hurts on the edge right
I
there?
think that was more reactionary from Justin Herbert. Jalen Hurts is going to run the ball regardless.
Well, what I'm saying, do you do this on purpose, knowing that the Chiefs didn't get it right at the end of the game and we're starting to bark at each other about it?
No, I wouldn't test a team like that that's been in the Super Bowl, 5 times over the last so many years and won 3 of them. He made a boneheaded play, but Chris Jones is going to the Hall of Fame for a reason. He plays the game the right way, defensive line the right way, and Andy Reid, and I know my coach Joe Cullen is going to fix that, and he told him, don't do that again.
Well, I'm sure, too, knowing Jalen Hurts, is that, in that it was 3rd and 14, Rich, right? And so they're thinking, oh, he's got to throw the football. It's a long ways to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go try to get my sack and put pressure on him.
Right.
I don't think you rush the same way or think the same way with Jalen Hurts because he's going to be looking to run probably more than a Justin Herbert would.
Well, I'm going to be looking to see, what's going on communication-wise on the defense and obviously what the Eagles are going to do on offense, maybe to get A.J. Brown more involved. Meanwhile, we go to Ian Rappaport for the latest on what's going on with the Giants. Ian? And the Jaguars?
Well, let's start with the Jaguars, Rich. Talk about who is going to be more involved in defense. Let's start with Travis Hunter, one of the most fun stories of the week. And every week, Travis Hunter last week playing just 6 of his 50 plays on defense. Obviously, always going to be skewed toward the receiver. That is what he is first. Expect more against these Cincinnati Bengals, more defense for Travis Hunter. The fun thing is going to be how. Is he going to be in the red zone? Is he going to travel around with Jamar or T? How are they going to use him? One of the fun questions for the Jags. And now let's get to the Giants, because the Giants, Rich, are starting Russell Wilson. Again, despite a disastrous first start, he earned it through the spring and the summer. They do not want to be reactionary. They are trying to be patient. However, this is a big however. Everyone knows Jackson Dart is coming, perhaps sooner rather than later. They do have a package of plays for him. Could use it today. They didn't last week. Once he gets in there, if he has success, it is all up in the air because simply he could just stay in.
Well, Ian, the Giants, along with the Texans and Titans, were the only Week 1 teams to not score a touchdown on offense. Russell Wilson, dating back to last year, lost the last 4 regular season starts with the Steelers, then the playoffs, and one and done. And then Week 1, he needs a win desperately as well. We all know where Jackson Dart is from and how the Giants traded back into the first round to select him. Needless to say, a lot of longtime listeners, first-time callers have some thoughts.
Do you intend to start Russell Wilson this week?
I speak for myself, but I think I speak for the majority of Giant fans. I don't want to watch Russell Wilson run around in the mud.
I've had it with this regime.
Jackson Dart needs to be the Giants' starting quarterback.
That game doesn't fall on Russell Wilson.
Well, then who's it on?
For me personally, my confidence never blinks.
I'm outraged at this Giant team. Why wouldn't they go with Jameis Winston?